Amy, hi, welcome to Letterboxd, and thanks so much to Neon for bringing us together. I am excited to chat about She Dies Tomorrow and learn some things about the films that you've loved throughout your life as well. But I have a first question is, your house is the location for the movie Amy in She Dies Tomorrow. It's your first house, and there's the thing, you're an independent filmmaker, you can finally afford to own a house, and the first thing you create in that house is a story about a woman who is going to die tomorrow, or at least thinks she is. It's like the permanence meets impermanence. And I was just thinking, what the heck, Amy? What the heck?
I feel the same way. Also, as we're doing this interview, I don't know if you recognize the house, but it is my house. So
we are in the location right now.
Yeah.
Awesome.
But yeah, but I think like permanence also brings on like the endlessness of it, right? And then also sort of what am I doing at every turn, sort of the metamorphosis of yourself is like you're constantly re-understanding yourself, right? And so me buying a house, I lived out of a suitcase for 10 years or something, and then finally bought a house and was sort of like fascinated if I could actually understand what that meant, and I didn't. And so the first idea that I had was I own a house and I need to make a movie in it. And so I was dealing, I mean, I say that like also I wanted to make a movie, but
of course.
But I also was like, I have a location and it's free and it's my house.
It's free. Yeah, exactly. Well, not free, you're paying for it, but yeah, it's you might as well, right? You've got the space, you've got the incredible creative friends. Although, when I was watching it, I was thinking, I feel like a lot of people in the world, not necessarily the white Western world, already live with the idea that they might die tomorrow. And not only that they know how they're going to die tomorrow, whether it's by police brutality or bombing or domestic violence. So I'm interested in the specific anxieties that you explore in She Dies Tomorrow. You know, the commentary you're making on the kind of creative middle class existentialism.
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to be honest from where my perspective was, you know, of the sort of that everyone's dealing with this anxiety, right? But from where I was, because I was still struggling, because I grew up poor, so to own a house and to be introduced into society in this like sort of echelon of people who are creatives that like make lots of money, that there is like you know what I mean, like there's like a weirdness to it when you grow up with no money in Florida.
Well, this idea that it could all disappear tomorrow, right?
Oh, certainly.
The fight or flight never goes away, right?
That it could, but at the same time acknowledging the mundaneness and triviality of it. You know?
Yeah, right. Like we've all been striving to get the house, and now we've got the house, and so what?
Right, but also that it's also silly, and we're especially with certain struggles, is like it's silly in some sort of like you're saying, it's like there's bombings here. It's a truly American experience to me. And like you know what I mean, like or a middle class experience in this way that's I don't want to trivialize it. It's just with everything going on in the world, it's just like and with my friends, and even in Israel, like they're just like I like constantly ask them, is like, how is that like when you're having like bombings happening every day, and they're just like, you just like live life in this normal way. And so it became fascinating to me, is like just sort of the social, you know, end of the world feelings that we were already having around 2015, not to mention any names, but
Yes.
that everyone felt in some way, right, left, center, that it was like sort of the end of the world if something didn't happen.
And now here we are. And what's your thinking about the weirdness of the timing of the film, where actually those of us in that sort of creative class can now utterly relate to this invisible dread and the idea that death is around the corner and we're not ready for it, and half of America thinks it's all a hoax and won't believe the other half, and you know, we're all going through a sort of mass mental health crisis, but we can only really counsel each other over the phone because of social distancing. It's like, and She Dies Tomorrow lands right in the middle of that, which is kind of, you know, given that theaters are closed, you almost couldn't ask for a more perfect film release time, even though we don't want this time, right?
I was gonna say, like,
I mean, you wouldn't ask for it.
I would never ask for this. I would never
No.
say, and I couldn't predict it, and I wouldn't know what it would be like without this either. In a way that, like, only strangers, like the only people that have seen it, like, as strangers, have been through the lens of the coronavirus, and so I have no idea. But at the same time, yeah, like, do I wish this upon us? No. I mean, no. I would be happy to continue just being obscure, and
Yeah.
if we didn't have it. I mean, my mom works in healthcare, so there's like a very personal connection to real life, you
Yeah,
know, like
right.
real life.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's, I mean, nevertheless, I think that one of the themes I'm seeing coming through a lot of the Letterboxd reactions to your film is not a sense of, oh God, a movie about what we're all feeling, but actually a sense of comfort and of feeling like there's a piece of art that touches on and reassures us that anxiety is actually a thing, first of all, and that it's okay to express it and talk about it. So that's interesting. I mean, it's actually a sort of curative piece of art that you've made.
I mean, that was what it was about, because obviously it takes time to make a movie. I couldn't have predicted when it came out. But yeah, I mean, that's just in life or anything that happens, you know, obviously you have to allow yourself to express so many emotions, right? Sadness and grief and anger and all of these things that you're going through. But there's always sort of a moment that you have to have resolve and be like, it's okay to not feel okay, which is sort of what the ending of the movie is. It's okay to, like, whatever happens, it's okay that it's not okay, and I'm okay with that. And like, you know, like, you just have to stand with that a little bit, you know.
I talked to your friend Chris Ray a couple of days ago about her new film, I Used to Go Here, which is sort of similarly about the derailment of plans, but in a completely different context. She said that She Dies Tomorrow is one of the most hilarious films she's ever seen. And we both agreed that maybe some people are missing a lot of the humor in it, but there is a lot of gallows humor. And so I was interested to know what kind of films you and your family watched when you were growing up.
Oh
You
God.
know, what sort of how films informed your sense of humor.
Well, firstly, did she tell you that we in the same night watched each other's movies and live text to each other while we were watching? All
No.
right. So I watched her movie first, and I live texted to her, and I was like, it's so funny. And then she watched my movie, and she's like, oh my God, Amy, this is so you. And it was really beautiful, because like our friendship is so supportive. But we,
And
like,
you were
in this,
supposed to premiere at South by Southwest
yeah.
together, and your films have come out in the same week, which just feels so, yeah, so
Yeah,
great.
and so we, like, finally were like, I just need to see your movie, and so we on the same night watched it together in some aspect. And but yeah, I mean, my family is so weird, and love. I know everyone says that, but you know, like, the way that we deal with things is either bombastic and explosive, or it's like we make super dark jokes, you know. And that it's the way we get through things is to be explosive and like tell our emotions, but then calm down and then make dark jokes to each other. And so there, and there's been like a lot of trauma and like hard things that we've dealt with as family. And then even with my friends, it's just like, you know, I maybe through my friends was like maybe one of the first to like lose a father like younger, and then each time, you know, as we get older, it's just unavoidable. And like each time somebody loses a parent, I'll get a text from somebody, or I'll send them a text and I'll be like, hey, let me know. And they'll be like, I know you know what I'm talking about. And I was like, if you need to like vent about how awful it is, or if you need to make a really dark joke, I'm here. Because I understand that like loss, like it's crazy, because like, you know, people that haven't dealt with some trauma or whatever, they don't know that like part of it is humor.
They have no idea. I mean, yeah, I can completely relate to that, given that we, as a family, literally made jokes over our dead father's body. So I get it.
You do.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
That's how it happens. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, back to, I hate to kind of move immediately from talking about dead parents straight back to movies, but we don't have a lot of time. So is there a film you can remember as a family gathering around and going, oh, that is our humor, or that's the way we look at life?
Oh God. I mean, it's like a conglomeration of things. I was talking earlier about It's a Wonderful Life, but that's not true to life. It's sort of the fantasy of what we want life to be. But I think A Christmas Story is probably closer to it, you know,
Yeah,
of like
right.
a family sort of like of like nothing's perfect, but you make it work. You know, like the ending of them sort of being like, everything's a disaster, but now we make it work. And it's like slightly abusive, but slightly
Yeah.
comical, you know, yeah.
And what's the film that first made you want to be a filmmaker, or, you know, or work in the movies?
There's too many. I mean, there's one that broke open that I wanted to, but then there's several that made me feel like I could. So the first one that like broke open that I wanted was Welcome to the Dollhouse by Todd Solondz, where
Yes.
I was like, fun, like yeah. And then there's been several throughout the years, like whether it was Godard, or you know, or Vagabond by Agnes Varda, or you know, like, or Barbara Loden's Wanda. It's like there's just been like several throughout the years that made me feel like I can do this. But there was a language in, and I didn't grow up with artists, and not to take away from my parents because they were really amazing, but there was something in Welcome to the Dollhouse that broke something open, which was like, you don't have to like make things traditional in a way.
Yeah, like in the normal Hollywood
Yeah.
way. Yeah.
And then that led me to Happiness, which Jane Addams is in.
Yes, who is amazing. And
Yeah.
I had a silly question. If Caitlin or Jane were to be cast in a blockbuster superhero film, what would be the ultimate roles for them?
For them? Oh,
Yeah.
like
Can
a
you imagine?
blockbuster. Oh my God. Well, I already think that Caitlin's already on a track to be Meryl Streep of our generation. So, because she
So
just is
Mamma
so.
Mia. No, jokes.
She just has that face that
Yeah, she
like,
does.
and she's hilarious also. Like she's like as people are discovering, is that she has the depth to do these explosive performances and then be hilarious in the same rate. And then, so I'm just trying to think. I mean, I don't know. I just want to see Kate and Jane just like have these like. I'm not even big into Academy Awards, even though I'm very excited that my friends won them. But like, but I want to see them in some sort of role where they get to like exercise all of those things. But the other thing is, I will say it's like they also are so in control of their own career that like
It's got to be right for them, right?
yeah,
They have to
exactly.
want to do it. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just because the industry might want them or discover them, discover like some kind of colonizer doesn't mean that they have to. Yeah,
Do it.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So a couple, I know that we don't have a lot of time because you are on this wild press tour from your own home/film location. A couple more
This
films.
wild press tour from my home. Yeah.
Yeah. It's so weird. Another couple of film questions. What is like your ultimate comfort film? You know, the one that whenever it comes on TV, you just have to stop and watch.
It's gonna be It's a Wonderful Life.
Oh,
Honestly,
oh, perfect. I mean, why not? It is an absolute classic.
I
And
can like I can almost verbatim like walk through the film and say all the words and like and I, honestly like even though it's like back in the day, like it's like it's such a good film for women and men. Like it's like equal opportunity, you know. Donna
yeah,
Reed is so has her whole like being, and she's just like, I want to share this life with you, and that's the trauma that she's going through. And like
yeah.
what an advanced movie for the time, because it is like he fell in love with her because she was so fucking fun and so smart, and she's like, and her trauma is like, I thought we were sharing this life together, why don't you like it, and why are you leaving me taking care of the fucking kids, you know.
Yeah. It's ahead of its time. And weirdly, I'd never thought of it from her perspective, which is so, oh my God, I'm going back to rewatch. And who is another filmmaker that you would die for, you know?
Like in like,
And that,
well, Yorgos right now is one of my favorites because I
yeah,
just love how he's shifting genre, but like also the language of film. And then also my personal friend in that same vein would be Josephine Decker.
oh wow, yeah, Shirley's amazing.
Yeah.
And what movie, once we've watched She Dies Tomorrow, should we watch next? And I have to warn you that your bestie, Chris Ray, said She Dies Tomorrow.
Well, you need to see, yes, you need to see, yeah, I used to go here. Because you have to, because I love her so much and I think it's hilarious and it's amazing in a very different vein, which is like beautiful for our friendship. I would say like I would say Shirley with Josephine. Yeah.
Perfect. Amazing. I feel like we need to let you continue on your red carpet tour in your house of your film. But can I ask one more question? What is the
Sure.
sexiest film you've ever seen?
Oh God. What is the hottest film? Um, oh man, this is so hard. Like whenever somebody gives me like that like you know, the superlative of films,
Oh
my
yeah.
brain goes blank.
I'm so sorry. What is a sexy film you would
I
recommend?
think it's like what is the one with Keanu Reeves and River?
Oh, My Own Private Idaho.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That one.
That's so hot. But also, oh wait, then that brings up something else, which is the other one with Diego Luna and
Oh yeah, Y tu mamá también.
exactly.
All right. On that note,
There's something really beautiful. Like for me, we see so much about like a sexualization of women that like it's so hot to see men exploring their sexuality. You know what I mean? Like
oh yeah,
that it's like oh thank you, like because there's always a sexualization of women exploring their sexuality, but to see men exploring it is so hot to me.
that sounds like your next movie. Something in that space.
Probably, yeah.
Thank you so much, and it's been an absolute pleasure.
All right,
Good
thank
luck
you so
with the
much.
rest of everything. Bye.
I wish I was where you are right now.
I know. We're very lucky.
Yeah.
Thanks, Amy.